Namaste, everyone. Welcome to my channel, IndigoAngel. I am Amanda, and today I have a special guest. This is Steven Cohen from the EMF Safety channel on YouTube. So he is here today to talk about something that is happening worldwide, but more progressively in the United States. And this actually might be an issue that is something that is more pressing of our time, and that is human exposure to wireless radiation and EMF radiation and 5G technology. So in the starseed community, in the multidimensional community, in the spiritual community, we are a family of super hyper attuned empaths, and we are a concerned community, and we are an awakened community. And so I do feel, as we are searching for information, searching for knowledge, looking to become informed, it's important that we find sources that we can trust. And so that is why, Neil, I am just so happy that you decided to come on my channel and bless us with your 30 years of experience in educating and consulting and informing people of EMF awareness. So thank you so much for being on my channel. And if you would like to just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to get the information out there. I like your passion and your intelligence, and I'm happy to participate. I have been studying psychology and esoteric psychology, Eastern wisdom teachings for 35 years, been a meditation teacher, a therapist, and that's mostly all I'm into, except eating organic food or organic watermelon laying out by a river or beach. That's my favorite thing. But I've been mostly a therapist and a meditation teacher. And then about 10 years ago, I started studying the EMF issue, and I bought about $4,000 worth of meters and started studying with experts, and I went literally down the rabbit hole into what I now consider probably one of the most crucial issues on the planet. And believe me, I am very familiar with the geoengineering, chemtrail issue. I am aware of Fukushima radiation, the plastic issue polluting the oceans. I'm aware of a lot of issues. However, when I see how many people are having symptoms from exposure to microwave radiation from cell towers, from wireless devices in the home, I absolutely have come to feel that the wireless radiation issue is one of the #1 causal factors of chronic health issues. And okay, fine, I'll sound a little egotistic, but I was saying this 5 years ago, and I'm nobody. So it doesn't matter when I say something, but then finally Dr. Klinghardt, who everybody respects, and I respect him, and then Dr. Jack Cruz, who everybody loves, and I love the guy too. They're brilliant people. They finally have been coming out and courageously saying that they feel that the EMF issue is one of the #1 causal factors in chronic health issues. Dr. Klinghardt says, oh, we used to think it was mold, and we used to think it was candida, and then we thought it was Lyme's, and now they're seeing that the exposure to the microwave radiation is kind of breaking the immune system down, where all those old retroviruses are starting to come up. And that's where a lot of the health issues are coming from. So I'm glad to hear them be courageous enough to bring a primary importance to exposure to microwave radiation.
Why is wireless radiation or microwave radiation, and can you kind of distinguish the difference? Is there a difference between just wireless radiation, or microwave radiation and wireless radiation are the same thing?
They're the same thing. They're just two different words. Wireless radiation is known as microwave. It's also called radio frequency. It's known as high frequency radiation. And all wireless devices use radio frequency or microwave. It's synonymous terms. So you get in your car and you turn the Bluetooth on so you can use your cell phone. Your car is saturated with microwave radiation, like a microwave oven almost. Your cell phone is wireless radiation, modems, routers, baby monitors, microwave ovens. You know, I don't have a TV set, but Roku TV, you know, wireless modems that get your TV stations, those are wireless. Did I say cell towers, cell phone towers? That's all microwave radiation. Military radar, the new 5G technology is super high frequency radiation. So that is different in contrast to just, let's say, the electric and magnetic fields that come off your stove or your computer screen, you know, or the wires in the walls. That's called low level EMF. Okay. So yes, wireless radiation or microwave radiation or radio frequency, it's all the same.
So there's definitely a difference then, because when I had watched one of your videos, I know that you said to keep everything from wireless to actually keep it on a cord or keep it connected through. I
tell people all the time, you know, I run 4 international businesses and a small nonprofit organization, but everything here, I have a printer, I have a 27-inch Mac, Apple monitor, and I have a new MacBook Pro. None of it is wireless at all. I have no wireless at all. No cordless phones, nothing.
So why is this radiation dangerous to our health? What about the non-ionizing wireless radiation? How does it penetrate our blood, our brain? Like, how does this affect us?
Well, I do want to give my usual disclaimer and just let your viewers know I never claim to be an expert. So what I do is I'm kind of a geeky person where I'll stay up until 1 and 2 in the morning and study medical and clinical data. And I take in the information, but I don't hold it all in my brain photographically. I wish I could impress people with all these numbers and statistics and epidemiological facts, but I'm not interested in it because it bores me.
Okay.
What doesn't bore me is being able to remind people that they can do their own research, but all independent scientists and doctors and researchers from around the world, I mean all of them who are not paid by the telecom industry, all of them agree that even low levels of exposure to microwave radiation will cause oxidative stress, will penetrate the blood-brain barrier, and what that means is it will break the DNA. It damages DNA. And so the old science and the old data, it's old. I mean, and it's wrong. It's been proven wrong. Is scientists or physicists or even really intelligent people will say, oh, microwave radiation doesn't have enough, it's non-ionizing, it doesn't have the power to break genetic bonds, but it does.
Okay.
And it will, and it is, and that's why people are getting migraines, and younger people are getting dementia and sterility, brain tumors. You cannot walk around holding a cell phone, you know, to your head for 10 or 15 years without consequences. I can't hold a cell phone to my head for 30 seconds without consequences, personally.
So it breaks the genetic bond, and then it's genotoxic.
It is genotoxic. Now, how long that takes, you know, if you're in a nuclear bomb explosion, obviously that's very rapid how a person could be affected, and the consequences are immediate. The reason why microwave exposure is a little tricky is because some people don't even feel any consequences from using their cell phone, or they have wireless modems and they go, oh, it doesn't bother me, but it does. And the consequences can be 10 years down the line, where I can go into a person's house and be having tea or visiting, and 40 minutes later, I'll have a headache in the back of my head. My head will be hurting, and I'll go, oh, you have wireless in here, don't you? They go, yeah, of course. So I feel the consequences pretty quickly, but not everybody does.
Yeah, I do as well. I'm actually kind of at a point where I don't even like to keep my hands on my computer anymore. I obviously need to invest in a mouse and a keyboard that's not attached to my computer, because my hands will just start like just feel.
Yeah. Do you have a laptop?
And yeah.
Do you have a laptop? Oh yeah. I mean, I have a laptop as well, but I use an external keyboard and an external mouse, and I plug them in with USB cord. You never want to have your hands on a laptop because that's where all the electronic equipment is. And then do you use wireless or do you use an Ethernet?
I have wireless. Yeah.
Okay, so
Ethernet, but
so not only do you have a wireless modem in your house that's radiating, the laptop itself is sending out a signal to meet the wireless signal of the modem. So having your laptop really close to you, that's also penetrating you with another wireless signal.
and I feel the effects of it. I really truly do. I actually ordered a blanket. It was like a pregnancy blanket for women to keep over their stomachs, but I'm like, I need this just for myself when I'm using my laptop because I feel it. You know, I feel.
How come you don't use an Ethernet cable? It's super easy.
Well, I really honestly have just started coming into this awareness, really, that I need to actually be taking these precautions. And I would say that I've started to just notice it within myself. Like I'm having symptoms. Like there will be days or mornings where I'll wake up and I'll just have extra anxiety in my chest. And to me, it feels like pressure, and it feels like there's it possibly feels like it could be radiation in my body. It feels like I'm trying to detox it on some level, and it's making me sick. It literally gives me stomach issues. I don't want to go into the what all those are.
When you go to sleep at night, is your modem on in another room?
Yeah.
Yeah. So minimum, and I'm going to talk to you, and I'm probably not just saying it to you, I'm saying it to a lot of your listeners as well. A little tiny baby step is at least unplugging the modem at night. You have to have 8 hours of sleep without being penetrated by microwave radiation. One of the first symptoms is the microwave will throw off the melatonin levels in the brain, and then you're not regenerating. And then sleep issues are a global issue. The main issues I hear from people are headaches, sleep issues, and ringing in the ears.
Right.
And so,
right. And that's so interesting you say that, because that is like one of the primary ascension symptoms. So if you look at all of the ascension symptoms, everybody says that they have ringings in the ears. So it's like, well, are these ascension symptoms or are these exposure to radiation? You know, I mean,
personally, and again, I'm not an expert at all, I'm just giving opinions. I have a lot of years of study behind me, but I just say it's an opinion. Ascension symptoms to me mostly are felt psychologically when people have strong emotional issues coming up, or the heart wants to open further to source to higher frequencies, or the third eye and the head wants to open more to higher frequencies. But in the human structure, in the human psychology, there's a fear of that opening. So there can be some contraction or fear in the heart to opening to more love, to opening to more abundance, to opening to more fearless spontaneity, or having the head centers open and actually taking responsibility for seeing deeper into reality, for being more psychic, sensing what your friends are feeling. And we all think we want that. Everyone thinks they want that. But what I've found in the human psyche is that most of us, even if it's subtle, there is a fear of coming into a higher frequency. And that's mostly felt as fear and contraction in the cardiac plexus. My camera's not that low, but I'm pointing to my heart here. In the cardiac plexus and in the head area. And then some people could feel it in the solar plexus. So I think of ascension symptoms as almost a little bit more psycho-emotional, like more psychological. When you talk about headaches and ringing in the ears and irritability, feeling like you're being targeted and you're being penetrated by something, I'm sorry, that's microwave.
Okay, yeah, and I feel like I've been intuitively feeling that, but then sometimes I find myself going along with, oh, these are ascension symptoms, but it's to a level of severity that it is impacting your reality, it is impacting your health, it's impacting your life. you know? So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like ascension is a natural evolution. Why would it be affecting us negatively?
I agree. I absolutely agree. I think Shakti, the goddess, Kundalini, I think she's incredibly benevolent. And when you study Hindu teachings, when you study the movements of Kundalini, there's not that many stories of radical, violent movement of Kundalini. Now, that is possible. People do have kind of deranged movements of it if they're doing intense practices and they're not ready psychologically. But mostly, I really feel strongly that the goddess, the intelligence inside the body, the breath of life, it's very benevolent and very gentle. And so for us, we're learning to open the heart to that upward movement. Let me move my camera down a little bit. We're learning to open to that movement of Shakti and soften to it, and it does bring more intimacy. It does bring more connection with life, which can feel vulnerable. And that's the adjustment to ascension frequencies. It's more harmonious relationships, more care, more love, to where your heart's breaking when someone's suffering and you want to help in whatever ways you can. So I really tend toward Ascension Symptoms a little bit more psychologically. And I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just giving my opinion. But when I hear the symptoms, and people call me from all around the world.
Yeah, well,
when I hear the symptoms, go ahead.
I appreciate your opinion, but I do feel that the spiritual community does intermix the two. I feel like there is a big confusion, and I feel that a lot of spiritual healers and a lot of people who are guiding a lot of people do reference Ascension Symptoms and pretty much list all of the symptoms that you're actually listing as the symptoms of microwave radiation. So I just find it
I love where we're going. Nobody's opened this topic in all the interviews I've done, 3 or 4 of them or something, I forget. But I love that you're bringing this up, because I think it's really, really important. And here's what's also confusing for, and I'm using my words very carefully, for innocent human beings. What's mostly confusing is microwave radiation is invisible, right? We can't see it. And so because we can't see it, we don't actually give it a lot of credit. Like we don't think it's that powerful. Oh yeah, I'm using a computer, I'm using my cell phone. Who ever thinks of how you can hold a stupid little cell phone? Where is that call coming from? That means there's microwave radiation saturating the entire atmosphere of the planet. And that is going to interact on quantum levels and very physical, biological, and cellular levels to our subtle nervous system.
Yeah.
Our nervous systems are designed to have the ecstasy of watching a butterfly fly through the air and feel ourselves as one with that butterfly, or smelling the rain coming down, and then all of a sudden we're being bombarded with very physical, very toxic microwave radiation, which it's not subtle. It's invisible. And so I think people really need to understand that a lot of the symptoms they're feeling, it's not just, ascension symptoms. And I tell people the first step is to rid one's own home of wireless devices. And so, we can talk about it now, or I can help you later if you want, but it's really easy to put an Ethernet cable from your modem to your laptop and then turn off the wireless option on your modem, and you have perfect high-speed internet. It's just going through a cable rather than through the air. And if you need the wireless, to update an app, or I don't know, your Kindle, if you need the wireless for some reason, you turn it back on and use it for a little while and then turn it off again. It's really easy.
Well, I think I'm kind of going back a little bit.
Sure.
You said it's invisible. We can't see it. So, I think, for one, it's out of sight, out of mind. So people aren't even really thinking about it. I mean, I think the 5G is starting to become on a lot of people's radar and awareness in the spiritual community, but not in a way that it's become an urgency, or it's become something that there's an epidemic movement of concern or something like that. I think that people kind of choose to ignore it. I think they choose to assume that, you know, the government is doing testing and that, you know, of course they wouldn't install 5G towers. You know, of course they're going to take the precautions to make sure that, you know, the community's safe and all of these things. And so it's like, do you know if they're doing anything to test to see what the outcome of this is going to be once they do install 5G towers? And do you know how far we are into the installation of 5G towers?
I love your questions. It's great. Very intelligent.
Okay.
We're pretty far into 5G.
Okay.
They are being installed up and down residential neighborhoods. I'm getting calls from people who are already having symptoms. There is an uproar around the world from concerned citizens. It's not the masses of humanity, but they've stopped it in some countries. I forget which ones because, again, I don't have a photographic memory.
I have a friend in Australia who says that they're protesting it, so it hasn't actually been installed in Australia.
In Belgium, I think they stopped it, but it is being rolled out. Are they testing it? Of course not. Of course not. This is a global surveillance grid going in with 5G. It is a militarized weapon. I mean, sure, on the surface level, let's be really cool. All right, I can download a 3-hour movie onto my cell phone in 2.3 seconds with 5G, with no latency. That's what they call it. There's no lag time, right? Or a surgeon in Florida could be doing remote surgery and save a person's life in California using the non-latency of the 5G technology, doing robotic surgery. So on a surface, it's like, oh, it's great. And then we have self-driving cars, and it's the whole Internet of Things that's going to make corporations trillions and trillions of dollars. Everything is going to be connected to the internet, from baby diapers to socks, to your oven, to your refrigerator.
Oh, that's scary.
Nothing is going to stop it. That's just my opinion. Nothing's going to stop it. It's too far gone. We're heading fully into a transhuman agenda. And so my message is not for all.
Clarify what the transhuman agenda is. Specifically.
You know, I don't want to get over my head here because I make these statements and then you just kind of made me realize I got to be careful of these statements. I got to be careful of these statements I'm making. The transhuman agenda basically is, I don't know who it is, maybe you do, whether it's artificial intelligence, whether it's a reptilian agenda, I don't know. Whether it's the government, I don't really know. But some agenda is wanting human beings to be easily controlled by microwave radiation and have all kinds of biohacking implants to where you're going to have half human and half synthetic beings. And I really feel that right now on the planet, I feel very strongly that there's a fork in the road. And there's the people who love living in cities and going dancing and doing all the entertainment and being on their phones and texting and love all the new technology. And then there's strange dinosaurs like me who love the goddess and love the earth and love nature. And, you know, I'm always looking around for places to live where there's no cell towers, you know, and no cell signal, but I can barely find places. So I think the people who want to go natural and follow the goddess and follow, you know, permaculture and intentional community.
I think there's people that can't. I think there's people that can't take that path because due to their genetic structure or their molecular structure or their body's predetermination to actually ascend and awaken, that they're so hypersensitive to it that we actually can't. We don't have a choice. And that was kind of something that sparked my awareness is when you were talking about possible EMF refugee camps in the future and things like that. And I really feel that's going to be a thing. I mean, I really do feel that with that fork in the road, there's going to be people who can handle it and people who can't. And I almost feel like it's going to be like a survival of the fittest. Like
I have to admit, I totally agree. I really do. I do not have thoughts of saving the world or having all of humanity change the way they're doing things. Sorry, I have some flies flying around here. really, my whole message is for the
genetics. We're going to get wiped out. This is
oh
popular.
well, doctors are warning about that, and people who know about EMF are warning about that. A few scientists think that, you know, we're in a slow extinction level event. So it's really, the whole message is for the few who might want to take the initiative to move out of populated cities into more remote areas.
Yeah.
You know, to other countries that maybe aren't as developed as the U.S. The U.S. is very developed technologically. And, you know, pretty soon the 5G small cell transmitters are going to be up and down every neighborhood. They're already in cities. It's hard to tell what the 5G transmitters are because they look like the other transmitters on cell towers. But when you see those little small cell transmitters they're not very big, they're like cones or squares, and you'll see them on a telephone pole outside a person's house. So it's already coming.
Wow.
And the message, again, the message it's not for everybody, and we'll see what the numbers are. But I do think we're heading into a transhuman agenda, and I do think the technology is increasing exponentially, and I think some people will enjoy it, and that's fine. So I get brain implants so your cell phone's in your head, or so that your cell phone's in your wrist. Okay, fine. Have fun. Now, I want no part of it.
Yeah. Speaking of the transhuman agenda, now some of this stuff I'm quoting actually out of Ashayana Dean. So she actually predicted some information that this actually began in 2004. And this is a draconian and zeta experiment. And it is EM pulses of frequency fences that they were testing underground in base locations. And it's to repress the human body's natural immunological response. And so they basically introduce chemicals into the water, supply to weaken our bodies and our natural defenses to foreign EM impulses. And then they essentially begin transmissions on the frequency and send the undetectable phantom electrical pulses that transmit through the Earth's grid into bioenergetic and electrical chemical systems. And then the phantom pulses actually follow the natural flow of the electricity from power stations, so AKA cell towers. And it's going to create a disruption in the energetic field, and it's going to basically put a perceptual harness on human consciousness. And so it will be a way that they can transmit holographic inserts and subliminally impulse human behavioral response patterns through the subconscious. And it's actually a way that they're going to actually control us through our technology. And so you feel that I feel like this is the transhuman agenda.
But every word of what you just said, it's not a prophecy, it's here now.
Yeah.
It's done. Whether it's happening exactly how you said, or whether the frequencies are being pulsed out through cell towers or Gwen towers, which I don't quite understand, but a lot of people ask me about Gwen towers all the time. Everything you said, it seems pretty obviously here. Everything from vaccination to genetically modified food to geoengineering of the skies to the whole cellular cell tower grid. And then think about it, you geoengineer the skies, so the skies are an ionized plasma field that's conductive, and then you use the cell towers to transmit the frequencies right through an ionized sky, and we're breathing in the ionized sky. So we're conductive.
Yeah, we're breathing in the nanotechnology. We're breathing in the AI.
Yeah. I know, it's not a very fun subject.
It's really not. It's really real. It's really raw. It's really in-depth. And I really like your take on it. I like your perception. I really like that you've studied how you've gone around and you've actually, you've read the gigahertz, you've metered everything. How can people do this in their home? Like if they wanted to get a meter and started reading to see, where their exposure in their home is the most and things like that. How do you suggest going about?
Yeah, I have, your questions are great. I have websites, I sell products, but I just want to be very clear. Never do I try to market my products. And sometimes on YouTube, I'll get comments where people go, oh, this guy's just trying to sell meters. And other people really sincerely get that I am, you know, a genuinely caring person, and it's not about selling a few meters. With that disclaimer, I tell everyone, my own family, my closest friends, my customers, clients, I tell everyone, you must own a radio frequency meter. It's an absolute must, because it's like a seeing eye dog. It's the only way you can see microwave in the environment. And so people, they want to buy a house or they want to move into an apartment. And I tell people, never move into an apartment. Apartments are done. They're over. You can't live in an apartment.
I live in an apartment.
What's that?
I live in an apartment.
Yeah, it's really tough. You know, you may have to make some other decisions at some point, just because even if you get rid of all your wireless devices, your neighbors are still using theirs, and they come right through the walls. So you could be sleeping in your bedroom, and then your neighbor could have a wireless modem right on the other side of the wall.
Wow, yeah. That's...
Oh, wow, yeah, exactly.
Okay, so how far out will one wireless modem go out? Because like I live in an apartment complex where I have somebody underneath me, and then I have someone behind me, and then I have someone, you know, diagonally for me. So what kind of a radius are we talking about?
You sure you want me to tell you?
I don't know.
You know how, you know, we've all had cordless phones, right? And you know how you can be talking to your friend on a cordless phone, and you can go walking out of your apartment, and you can go walking down the hallway. You could just about go walking outside in front and still be talking to your friend on the cordless phone. That's a microwave radio. That's the same thing as what a cell phone is. And how you get that microwave is from the base station sitting in your house, and it's transmitting to your phone. So a neighbor with a wireless modem that's 20 yards away or 30 yards away, I can pick that stuff up easy on a meter. I can walk down the neighborhood of a street on the sidewalk with my meter looking at it, and I could tell exactly inside the house 20 yards away what they have inside their house in terms of a wireless modem or cordless phone. It's easy.
Wow.
So it travels quite a distance. Now, the farther away you get, the less dangerous it is biologically, but still, you really, I tell everybody, if people ask me, oh, what about the stickers to put on my phone? And what about all these great energetic devices? What about Orgon and Shungite? And I just tell them, please do not keep making these people millionaires. They're lying. They may be innocent, okay? But a lot of people are lying. Putting a sticker on your cell phone. I mean, I have an iPhone. I rarely use it. Yes, I put one of these on the back. I don't know if it works. This thing is turned off. It's on airplane mode. I have location settings disabled, Bluetooth disabled, Wi-Fi, but you know, I have to make a call every once in a while. I tell people all the time, the only protection is reduction, elimination, and proximity, which means reduce your wireless exposure or eliminate it completely and get as far away from sources of exposure as you can. Reduction, elimination, and proximity. Other than that, you know, spending $300 or $400 or $500 on devices or things where people will tell you it'll protect you from 5G by just having this pyramid in the middle of your house. It's like, I like subtle energy. I've been around subtle energy devices, and I've sold them and provided them to people for many years. But nothing's going to keep a person safe.
Okay. So how
it's not
something like Shungite or Orgonite actually work? Let's say I was holding some Shungite right now in my hand or some Orgonite right now. Does it repel it? Does it absorb it? Does it distract it? How does it work?
Well, I appreciate Orgonite, and I appreciate people who really believe in it. There's a lot of people who take blocks of Orgonite and they throw them around cell towers. So Orgonite might do something, but put it this way. Let's just say your wireless modem is blasting a 360-degree spherical transmission of wireless radiation around your apartment, and you're holding a piece of Orgonite. And let's say the Orgonite harmonizes the environment a little bit. Let's say it transforms a little bit of it. But what about all the other 360-degree circumference where you're being hit by all the microwave radiation? A little piece of Orgonite cannot remediate your house. And then people say, oh, why don't you take your microwave meters and test the Orgonite? And that is another innocent but ignorant statement, because you can never take I have my meters right here. Like, here's like a really good quality microwave meter. You can't turn this thing on and watch it registering wireless radiation and then hold a piece of shungite, because it's not going to change what the meter's showing. And that's why I'm a little bit, I don't know what to call it. I'm a little bit closed-minded, because can you see easily this material hanging behind me? This white material on the side and the white material in back of me?
Yeah.
That is very expensive microwave shielding fabric. And why do I have it up? I live on 10 acres. I have beautiful oak trees out here. I want to see out these windows. Well, when I moved in here, to my disappointment, using one of my more sensitive meters, I could pick up pulses from the military base 30 miles away from here. And I didn't feel good. I could kind of feel the heaviness in my head that I kind of feel when I have microwave exposure. And so I hung up, it's probably 14, I don't know, 2 pieces of 14-foot long RF shielding to actually block it. So let's see. Well, I just turned this meter on, and you can see it's not even registering. Okay. I'll turn it off again and watch. I'll turn it on. So you can see it goes on, but usually in most people's homes, these lights would be halfway up here and you'd hear the meter screaming, but I have no wireless in here at all. So the meter doesn't even look like it's turned on, but you can see the numbers. So it is turned on, but it's not registering anything. Everyone's home I walk into, that meter's screaming.
Wow. So
point being, for people to protect themselves, and I'm kind of backing up a little bit, the most affordable meter is called an Acousticom 2. It's about $174, and if you don't mind me saying so, if people want to support me, I really appreciate it. My website is emfsafetyzone.com. That's emfsafetyzone.com, and you can get an Acousticom 2 there for about $174. It's a super good meter, it's affordable, and it's really sensitive, and it's small. Mine's in my car, so I don't have it with me. And then there's some other meters there that are a little more expensive and a little more advanced. But, you know, I don't care whether people buy it from me or anybody else, but everyone should have a microwave meter, because then you can choose environments consciously. You're empowered to choose an environment that's cleaner or safer, whether it's a work environment or a living environment.
I have to say too, I feel like one way that I explain going through an ascension process is going through an expansion and contraction, or an ascension and descension. And I feel sometimes when I'm going through like a descension process that my body is absorbing radiation. And I feel like through that process that I feel very, very sick. And there will even be like days where I'll be going, you know, a few days at a time where I'm just like kind of lethargic, or I'm not getting anything done, or I'm just like, you know, it's affecting us in all ways. It's affecting us psychologically, behaviorally, you know, all of these ways. And I feel like I feel myself going through this, and I don't know. I mean, now I feel like I'm getting some of the tools to try to make it better, but it seems like I'm going to have to move out to the country and really make
It may not have to be that radical, but Amanda, you are young, you're absolutely beautiful, and I'm just telling you from my heart, I'm challenging you to do this experiment, all right? You have to get rid of the wireless in your apartment and see how you feel. I have doctors who are medical doctors who call me, psychotherapists who are PhDs, chiropractors. They're way more educated than I am. I mean, I do have 35 years of holistic study. I'm just not a PhD or an MD. But I tell these people, listen, I want to be humble. I don't want to be arrogant, but I'm going to tell you plainly, you cannot diagnose your clients or your patients. You cannot diagnose them until they have wireless radiation exposure out of their homes for at least a couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, so you can get a baseline understanding of what that person is challenged by health-wise. You can't diagnose a person and find what's going on, and then the person goes home and they're sleeping with their head 3 feet from a cordless phone, or the teenager has their cell phone on the nightstand, and the cell phone is exchanging data with a local cell tower all night long through the kid's head.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and then people live down the street from a cell tower, and then you go to a doctor and the doctor's trying to diagnose you. Do you see how complicated this is?
Yeah.
So for you, I want to challenge you, you know, in a nice way. I want to challenge you to reduce your wireless radiation. You know, you can't control what's coming in from other people, but you can control what's going on in your apartment, and then see how you feel, because everything you're telling me about the lethargy, the expansion, the contraction, so much of that is exposure to microwave, where your immune system's trying to work. You see, microwave radiation, it's a toxin. It's not something that you detox out of your body. Like if you drank some radioactive water, that you would have to detoxify. But microwave radiation, it's not like it gets in your body and you have to detoxify it. You have to stop the exposure factors. You have to get rid of the sources of exposure, and then let your immune system and your nervous system build back up so they're more resilient.
Is there
which will happen
damage if you're having symptoms? Does that mean you're already, you know, it's already too late?
You know, I want to be really positive about it. I put it this way, not just 1 or 2 people, but I mean a lot, and I'm really happy about this. I've had people, and these are true stories, honestly. I had one person tell me, I've had migraine headaches for 5 years, and I said, unplug your modem at night. The person emailed me back and said, this is the first morning in 5 years I've woke up without a migraine headache. Now, I'm not kidding. This happens all the time. I probably get more pleasure than even a medical doctor, because medical doctors don't even get such drastic recuperation from people. I get stories like this all the time when people get rid of the exposure factor and the body changes very rapidly. But by the time a person's having symptoms,
that's something I can definitely do, is unplugging the modem at night. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And your body will regenerate. I guess my warning to all your viewers and to people, my warning is the longer you delay, the more you wear out the nervous system and the immune system, because microwave radiation is a toxin, because it does penetrate the body. And so also a lot of people, I'm skipping the subject, but a lot of people call me who they swear they're targeted by the government or whoever. And I say to them, do you live in an apartment? They say, yes. Excuse me. I go, do you use a cell phone? Yes. Do you have wireless modems in your home? Yes. I go, you're already targeting yourself. So why don't you get rid of those and then actually find out if you're being targeted or not? Because when you have wireless devices, you have this underlying chronic like irritation that something's penetrating you from outside, because something is.
Right. Oh, wow. Okay.
And I'm not saying people aren't being targeted. That might exist. I'm not an expert on this subject. It probably does. I wouldn't put it past our military. But at the same time, it's like, come on, have somebody move to a more remote location, get rid of the wireless devices, keep their cell phone on airplane mode during the day, or disable cellular data. We can talk about that because that's a really hot tip. And then see how they feel.
Okay. Good to know. So my question to you is, you know, since you are spreading a lot of this awareness, a lot of this knowledge, do you feel like you're targeted? Do you feel like you're being censored? Do you feel like your channel's targeted? As I know, you know, when people start to put this kind of information out,
I don't think I'm important enough. I mean, you talk about somebody like David Icke or Alex Jones. I mean, those guys are big time. I'm nobody. So, you know, I don't know. I don't think I'm targeted.
Well, I mean, you're growing.
I don't know. I don't know what it would feel like to be targeted. I know it feels bad enough just to have a cell phone tower 3 miles away from here and a military base that I can measure the pulses on. That's bad enough. So I wouldn't know if I was targeted, and I haven't seen any censoring on my YouTube channel, except I do get people who leave comments where you can tell they're misinformation people. Mm-hmm. So I delete their comments, and people go, "Oh, you're censoring comments. You don't want people to know the truth." And it's like, no, I want people to know the truth. And when I get comments from doctors or scientists or college students who are intelligent, and they say, "Oh, you're an idiot. Non-ionizing radiation doesn't have the power to penetrate the blood-brain barrier or break DNA." I censor their comments because it's already been proven wrong. So I don't even want my viewers influenced by statements like that that are completely idiotic, and it's already been proven wrong by clinical data from independent researchers. So I don't know. Am I targeted? I don't think so. But I don't know. You never know these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't want to be paranoid about it. And then I hear a lot of people talk about being targeted, and I kind of go, well, why are you being targeted? Like, you're just like not really doing anything. But that, you know, I don't know how dark it goes down the rabbit hole. And I know humanity has been a source of experimentation for the government and the military for a lot of years. So.
Do you think that it's a form of a concentration camp? You know,
it sure seems like it to me. It sure seems like it's a larger concentration camp, you know, with cameras and 5G transmitters going in. It seems, I don't even like to talk about this subject, but if I just open my mind and look at reality, it does seem like a concentration camp. Seems like a surveillance grid. Now, in China, they're already there. If you study what's going on in China a little bit, they have almost a full police state, and their population, you know, I don't know, they kind of like it. They just go right along with it. But I think they're the main experiment.
China.
With cameras everywhere and surveillance and censoring on their cell phones, you know, and on the internet. What's that?
And then the U.S. is the second experiment.
I don't know. I tell you, I have my feelings about what's going on, but mostly, you know, when I'm being interviewed in different places, I do try to focus on what's really practical and what will help people have better health. You know, I can't control the whole reptilian agenda or, you know, like, just there's nothing I can do. And I don't feel like telling people, yeah, go throw shungite or orgonite everywhere and it'll heal the whole planet. So I'm just kind of a practical guy. I'm like, get rid of wireless devices in your home, you know, start there and develop.
Kind of like regardless where you're at in your spiritual evolution, we have to start looking at this, because I've had some people come to me too and be like, well, if my chakras are balanced and I'm eating organic and all of my energies are attuned and I'm, you know, I feel like my light body is, you know, I'm attentive to my light body and all of these things, that, you know, this isn't going to affect me. And I kind of feel like it doesn't matter, because we are a biological structure and we are organic material and it is penetrating through our cellular structure. So, I mean, it doesn't matter how much meditation we do, how much, you know, spiritual dedication we have. It's going to affect us the same either way. Would you?
You are right on. And I hope your viewers listen to your wisdom, because Absolutely, confidently, I'll tell you, it is wisdom. I have had stories of very highly evolved Tibetan monks coming from Dharmasala. I mean, these people are super high beings. And this person told me that this monk, as soon as he got here to the United States, he was not feeling good, and it was the wireless radiation. So his, what you call in Chinese medicine, his Wei Qi, or his auric field, it wasn't so large that it's pushing away microwave. And I have a very dear friend who's very positive. I love her dearly. She said to me, "Oh, Neil, you're bigger than all that microwave. You're bigger than that." And I said to her, when you can stand on the freeway and prove to me that you're bigger than a Mack truck coming at you, then maybe I will follow you. You'll be my guru. But right now, I said, no, you know, love God, you know, trust the universe, balance your chakras, get rid of your frickin' wireless devices.
End of story.
End of story. Because what I find is people who, how do I say this kindly? People who sort of aren't on the spiritual path, they haven't really had any subtle openings in the head centers of the heart. They don't really feel microwave very much, and they say, "Oh, it doesn't bother me." Most of the people I know who have done plant medicines, like myself, for over 20 years, by myself in the forest or in the desert, you know, I've spent 3 and 4 days at a time meditating by myself in the forests outside of Mount Shasta. I've had quite a few openings, and when your chakra system is a little more sensitive, I think you're even more affected by this, because microwave radiation, so you know perfectly well as I do that how nature is, she's coherent, she's love itself. In science, it's called coherence, and microwave radiation is totally incoherent, jagged, chaotic. It's what's called non-native EMF. And so people who will say, "Oh, well, the microwave radiation from your wireless modem is less than the radiation from the sun. It won't even bother you." And I tell people, please do not waste my time and my intelligence. The sun is the solar deity. It is native EMF that we evolved with since the beginning of time. A wireless modem is non-native, man-made, pulsed, modulated radiation. Give me a break. Don't go comparing things like this. It's idiotic.
Well, it's just really important too, because I mean, I think a lot of people awaken and ascend through trauma. A lot of people awaken and ascend through having their cellular structure break down. That's why they can feel their soul come alive in their bodies, because the actual body had to wake up to tell them that what you're doing in your life path has broken you down to a point now that I've come alive, and I've come to tell you that you have to stop doing all this crap.
Yes.
Change your ways, or you're gonna, you know.
Yes.
That's your fate.
And that's what much of the symptoms are about. Symptoms of fear in relationship, in a love relationship, or just in human relationships. Fear, when you track it somatically through the body, it's always a fear of intimacy. Always. It's a fear of being more intimate with one's own authentic heart, and then sharing that open heart with another. And you can feel that in the body. Sorry, I spaced out. I kind of forgot where I was going. But
I do that. It's the EMF.
Sorry.
It's the EMF.
No, I can't blame it on any EMF, because I don't have enough of it around. That kind of subtle energy is trackable, okay, psychologically. But again, I don't know. I forgot where I was going. But the microwave radiation, it's completely different. It's not the same kind of symptoms. Although people do have told me that a lot of people have panic attacks and are more easily irritated because of the microwave exposure.
I really
feel
it
could get.
And paranoia too, like what you were just saying, feeling that people feel that they're targeted.
Yeah.
Exacerbating the paranoia and all of that.
And on a certain level,
That's what
all of us are.
kids aren't aware of this. Like young kids are not aware. I will go into my daughter's room and they will have their laptops on their stomach.
Oh.
And I will be like, take that off of your stomach right now. And they don't want to. They don't want to. They'll actually get frustrated that they have to actually turn to the side and put their laptop over here.
Are your kids using wireless too?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna be making some changes. Yeah. Yeah.
Can I have your permission to offer you something? And I'm sure this will be for your viewers as well.
Yes.
Let me just grab this device so I can show you. Hang on one second. Okay, so I'm going to give you the hottest tip you can imagine here. It's such a great tip. So you might feel overwhelmed, and I'm talking to you and I'm talking to your viewers. Okay, we're using wireless. You know, I have a child or 2 children or 3 kids in college. How am I supposed to get internet into their rooms? I don't want to drag an Ethernet cable from the living room into the kids' room and be tripping over it all the time. So hopefully people are taking notes. But this little device right here, see, it plugs into the wall.
Okay.
All right. And then on the bottom, you notice there's Ethernet ports.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So right where your modem is located in your house, you plug this thing into the wall, and then you run an Ethernet cable from the modem to this adapter. And then, well, this is one company, but this is just another company. It's the same thing, but one of these is near the modem, all right? And you can see the modem will plug in here with an Ethernet cable. Then you put the other one in your daughter's room, and then she plugs her computer in with an Ethernet cable, and the internet is running through the wiring of your home, and you can turn off the wireless at the modem. You can turn the wireless off on your daughter's computer, and you can turn the wireless off on your computer. And these are called network Powerline adapters. You can get these on Amazon. I don't know if you can see the model number.
Okay.
All right, but there's these are Linksys, and this is a TP link.
Okay.
And again, these are available on Amazon for $60 or $70, and you need at least 2 of them. Or if you want to get internet, you know, to someone's room upstairs and then someone else's room, you might need 2 sets of them.
Okay.
But that's a hot tip, because that's how you get rid of wireless.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. That's really good, helpful information. I'm definitely seeing where I need to make a lot of changes and where and how it's going to benefit me and my children, because that does scare me when I go in and see them having that on their stomach. I mean, I immediately think stomach cancer. I start thinking the worst.
Oh yeah, you got the kids, whether you're motivated for yourself or not, you must be motivated for your children. You must be motivated for your children in terms of cutting down the wireless. You can't have them sleeping with a wireless modem on during the night, because their brain is still forming. Their skulls aren't as thick as ours. You know, I mean, it goes on and on. But you have to do it for your kids.
So my question too is, even if you turn the modem off at night, isn't there? So they would need to turn their Wi-Fi off on their cell phones as well, because it's still going to pick up from the cell tower, not just the modem. So
well, it's really interesting. I have actually measured pulses coming out of an iPod when I forgot to turn the Bluetooth and the Wi-Fi off, and that iPod was off. And I didn't know where the pulses were coming from, and I was starting to get irritated. And then I turned my iPod on, and after I updated it, it had left the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi on. So yeah, when they're sleeping at night, their cell phones should be turned off. You know, put it on airplane mode and then turn the whole cell phone off. You don't want that cell phone radiating. And then, as long as we're here, here's another really hot tip. You know how no one really wants to use airplane mode because you can't text and you can't receive a call? If you go into the settings menu, I mean, I could hold my cell phone up and show you, but most people are smarter with a smartphone than I am. I don't even know how to use it that well. If you go into the settings menu, you disable Bluetooth, you disable Wi-Fi, and you disable cellular data. And that makes the phone so it's not exchanging data with a cell phone with a cell tower all the time, but you can still make and receive calls, and you can still receive and send texts. Because I leave my Bluetooth disabled, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and cellular data disabled all the time, and calls can still come in, except I will leave the cell phone sitting on the side of my car on the passenger seat and not get a headache because it's not exchanging data with a local cell tower. But most people have location settings enabled. They have Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, cellular data, and the phone is just constantly sending out spikes of radiation. I mean, I could show you right now, I could just turning that cell phone on and taking it off of airplane mode. I could show you on the meter, it'll just shoot the meter to the top in the red, but people can go to my YouTube channel and watch those. You know, for me now they're boring, but for other people, they might go, whoa, are you kidding me? When you see what a cell phone does on a microwave meter, it's mind blowing.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you so much for all of these tips. I'm definitely going to be implementing them in my life, my reality, my world to benefit myself and my children and to help reduce our EMF exposure.
Right on.
I can't wait to actually start kind of doing these things and just kind of really start notating the differences and see how we feel. I just want to say thank you so much for coming onto my channel and blessing us with all of your knowledge and information. I also wanted to tell my subscribers that you should go and subscribe to the EMF Safety Zone channel so that way you can stay informed and you can keep up with all of the information and learn how to protect yourself from wireless radiation. So
yeah, I have a website, if you don't mind, real quick. It's my nonprofit organization, but one of the pages on that website is emfsafe.org. That's O-R-G, so emfsafe.org. And I do some consulting in the local area when people call locally, but that has references on it. And then if people go to emfsafetyzone.com, that's more of a commercial website, but there's also a lot of resources there. And then if people go to YouTube, the YouTube channel is EMF Safety Zone. And if you put that in, then you'll just see all my videos come up and you can click in there. And there's a really good education if people want to spend a little bit of time watching the videos.
I'm sure some people do and they will. Yeah, definitely. Most definitely. Well, thank you
so much.
Absolutely.